You're off to a pretty hot start. You have got 12 goals in 16 games. I mean, what's it been like for you, to be scoring at that rate, and how does it feel right now?
I mean, the whole team's playing well, winning hockey games, so that's a good feeling. So I want to keep that going. Got some good tests coming up, very good tests, some divisional opponents. So I think we've gotten better as a group, generating more chances, shored up some of the stuff we were giving up in the middle in the D zone. So we've been taking strides, and like I said, we've got some good tests coming up.
Is there something to, when you're scoring a lot, like, do you think there's any luck involved, or is there something to, like, being in the zone and the net looks bigger or whatever?
I think it's a law of averages. Try to generate those chances and get the right spots, and trust that the work that you put in, a certain percentage of those chances are going to go in, especially if you're getting into those areas with high percentage chances, and especially some of the goals I've been scoring. I mean, on the ice with some pretty incredible players. I mean, last night's a pretty good example. The pass Mika made was insane.
Chris, when you see the scoring you're getting from other guys, how encouraging is that, seeing that the team is getting it from other places, not just the same people?
That's how you win in this league. Hockey's the ultimate team sport. Teams that there at the end of the year, 4 lines deep, 3 good pairs. It's a game of depth. It's a team sport. So getting contributions up and down our lineup every game is what's been giving us success, and continue to do that.
You talk about putting the work in and it paying off. I mean, before you've won 4 games in a row between 1 and 2. You guys had a bit of a break and were able to work on some stuff. How much do you think that helped?
A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked a little bit about how important those days are going to be. New staff, a lot of games, not a ton of practice time, new players, whether they're veterans or rookies, and still a handful of young guys. Anytime you're got a very, very different look as a group, it takes a little bit to get to the point where you're not thinking. If you're thinking during the game, you're a half second slow. Got to be able to read and react and trust that you're going to do the job to the best of your ability, and so on up and down the line.
Go on, picking you to go on the shootout the other night. Does that have any significance to you beyond the fact that you were picked to go on the shootout?
We were 7 rounds deep.
I'm glad you said that.
Were you really hiding? You said you were hiding.
No, but I didn't think it really mattered where I stood on the bench. I mean, over the course of my career, though, it usually doesn't get outside of 3 or 4 guys, and we've had some combination of Mika and Zook, and those guys are, you know what Zook can do on a show, you know what Mika can do, and now with Brett and Capo, and
but does it add anything?
deep
I mean,
tricks.
does it infuse you with any kind of confidence, good feeling that the coach thinks, and that then you score? Do you take anything from that, or is it just a specific set of circumstances, and you succeeded, you were chosen, and then you just move on?
Do I take anything from it?
It's okay to say
No. 7 rounds deep.
no. Yeah, okay.
I walk down the bench to ask Mika what I should do. It's funny because it's a move that I've worked on probably more than anything else with Mika, and he's kind of taught. That's his bread and butter. Right? He comes down forehand, and he's so good at sliding to the backhand, and even if the goalie stays with him, putting it under the bar. So I feel like every day I'm going and picking his brain. I see him do something. It's so fun playing with him and being on a team with him and guys like him and Artie. And, they're doing these crazy things, and even if those aren't staples of my game, it's just fun to try to work on those and to push yourself, because they make them look so effortless and so easy. But just hearing them kind of explain what's going through their mind when they're doing those things, it makes for a really cool, fun learning environment. And I think we have that throughout the organization. Guys are excited to practice. They want to try stuff. But obviously when it comes to game time, playing the right way.
You talk about a fun learning environment. I mean, you guys are also off to your best start in, I don't know, like 16? Is that what you said? Yeah. I mean, what's it like to get off to a strong start as a team? game.
Well, it's important. You know, every point matters. You can't wait around until back into the season to try to make up that ground. So, you know, the emphasis has been on winning from day one, and that's something that I think everyone is really enjoyed buying into and committing to. Obviously, there's been some games where we haven't played particularly well, but they've been able to come away with points. You can still win here or there, and a big part of that has been our goaltending. But at the end of the day, we understand that that's really all that matters, and that's a big part about playing in the NHL. You know, the schedule's not always in your favor. It might not always feel the best, but finding a way to get points, finding a way to ground out a win, whether it be on the road or at home, that's, I think, a sign of good teams.
With the wins stacking up, and you touched on the balance, the last few games especially, it seems like the contributions, all four lines, like everybody's kind of pulling their weight, it feels like. Going into Toronto now, last time you guys played them, you came out with the win, but they had a lot of possession, they had way more shots, all that kind of stuff. Do you look at this as kind of a good gauge of, okay, last time our goalie stole it for us, but this time you feel like you guys are in a position to maybe have more of a complete game?
I mean, I think we've improved. So have they. They're playing really good hockey, and they're a very dynamic, high-powered team, one of the best teams in the league. So we're going to have to put our best foot forward. And hopefully that brings out the best in us. We can commit to our system and trust that, you know, if we do the right things, that we'll get our looks. And, I mean, they're going to have their pushes and they're going to have their flurries. You're not going to keep a team with that much firepower out of your own zone. They're gonna do everything in their power to generate chances. But for us, it's keeping those chances to the outside and playing a patient game and you know, getting on the inside and there it is.
But that balance, like, does it have a trickle down? Do you guys feel like is there more confidence overall because the whole group seems to be kind of pulling the same way now? You guys tried to make those changes or whatever you worked on last week, and now it's coming into play. It's working.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I'd agree with that. There's definitely a sense of confidence when you have depth, when you have guys who are committed to their role and are doing the right things, both ends of the ice. Our ability to roll over lines, I think, is what's going to give us long-term success. So if we continue doing that, I think that we'll be in good shape.